everybody. My name's Craig.
I'm Brian.
I'm Burke.
And I'm Michelle.
And this is Get Dunked On, the podcast.
Hey, what do you say? I come from a place called the US of A. Does anyone even...
Oh, see, I thought you were going to go with something like, this is HalloBreen.
That would have been more appropriate.
Hey, I am the originator of that song.
That is true. That's true. He completely did steal that one from whatever that director's name is that I can't think of at the moment.
Yes.
Tim Burton.
That's the guy.
Yes. But the HalloBreen part was all me.
Oh, God. So those movies are terrifying. It's like just filled with a bunch of evil characters. I mean, it's still fun.
It's one of my favorite movies ever.
Okay.
Oh, you're off the podcast.
That was quick. Welcome back, by the way.
I've been back for 5 minutes.
Yeah, welcome back.
Maybe you shouldn't have come back. Maybe you should go back where you came from.
Welcome back. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. See you later. Bye. Thanks for playing.
That was frightfully good.
Oh, God dang it. No, we're being a little bit mean to Michelle. That actually kind of made me think of something that I was laughing about earlier today. So I was out for a run and I was listening to a podcast where they were talking about how internet trolls are just basically awful people and like some of the meanest things that people have said, you know? So for me, I started thinking about it going, what are some of the worst things that I've ever like said publicly? And then I realized that it's nothing compared to what they did, right? I'm like, oh, so I'm not the bad guy. But then I started thinking about the world of like, what if I was? What if I was the asshole? What would I do with that kind of thing? And I realized that number one, I'm not that creative, but number two, I realized that if I had the abilities to like kind of screw with people, the things I would do that are kind of like asshole-ish aren't really that bad. They're just more mild inconveniences. So, for example, one of the things I thought of, I was like, and this is once again fictional world where I have unlimited ability in this, whatever. I would go back in time and have them cast me as Harry in Harry Potter in all the Harry Potter movies, and then deliver every line like, "Oh, it's me, Harry Potter," and then they'd have to do that. But like no. But the rule is like in this fictional world, they still print and put the movie out to the general public, and I ruined the book franchise for everybody. So
I would literally hunt you down and stab you repeatedly.
In my head, it was the funniest thing in the world. Just like thinking about like, man, we wouldn't have even had a Harry Potter quiz. Like none of that would have happened because I could have been this asshole, been like, oh no, it's Voldemort.
This could potentially be a great series going around. Somehow you have the ability, Brian, to go through all of, I won't say space and time, but we'll say parallel universes where you can find, I guess it'd be like the Rick and Morty thing, being able to dial in, but specifically dialing exactly what universe you wanted to get into. Mm-hmm. And so you're in a universe you're in a universe where you were somehow cast and that was the way it did it. And that's the way it tragically fell down. And the hero or the heroine of the story is Michelle chasing you down through history purely because of your first act to ruin Harry Potter.
Oh my God. She'd never catch me.
The rest of it is you doing good things for the world. Michelle's like, nope, this must stop.
It doesn't matter. He fucked with Harry Potter. He's got to die.
I love it. Like I'm the guy. Like I go and I stop Hitler and like all this, horrible tragedies. And she's like, undo it all. We gotta save Harry. And it's like, whoa, really?
I mean, Hitler gets stopped without you, so it's okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm saying I don't know. But my point is that that was one of the first things I thought of, and then I was like, okay, I could probably do better than that. Like, what other asshole-ish stuff could I do? And I just kind of went down the rabbit hole of like, thinking about like, oh, if I was the bad guy in this whatever. And I got to tell you, I'm really not. I'm just not. I'm not cut out to be the villain in a lot of this stuff. Like I'm too like I think about like, oh, I could do this to a person. I'm like, but then they'd feel bad, and then I'd feel bad that I made them feel bad. I mean, do you guys ever have that thought of like, what if you were the villain?
Not exactly, but like at work, there's like every time I turn around, there's some kind of new fraud thing that people are pulling, some kind of new scam. And like, it just boggles my mind every time that people think of that stuff because it's stuff that I would just never, ever think of in my life to do.
That's how I am a lot, where just every single thing people come up with, I'm like, how in the blue hell do you come up with these things that are maybe I'm just not creative enough to come up with these types of ideas. But when people find these things of like, trading this for this for this for this, and then somehow like through a long chain of events, they end up earning just a little bit more money off of their original investment. Like, it's brilliant. Even if I'm not even talking about just bad things, but just in general, I'm like, I don't even understand how your brain connected all of these things of this is worth this is worth this, and then you, especially when you start turning it into fraud type things, like how do you get these ideas to do this stuff? It makes no sense.
There was that guy who traded it, like he started with a paperclip and ended with a car. Remember that?
Yeah, it took
I
him a
think I
long
read
time to
that
do that.
story as well.
Yeah, that was cool.
It took him a long ass time to get that done.
Yeah, and that's not even malicious. Like for me, as I said, like my thought process on it was like intent to do something bad, like not like crimes of passion, because that, like, you know, anyone can have that feeling where you're at work and you're like, I want to flip the desk over, you know, like, you know, push all the monitors all you know, out of here and punch the guy next to me. Like, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like the actual thought of like, I'm going to be the villain here, you know?
Yeah, I have no desire to do that.
Do you want to know who the villain was the other day for me?
Who's that?
I walk outside. So I guess I'll preface this a little bit more for you. Sarah and I are at home. We're watching TV. She got home really late from work and she was like, I don't feel like cooking. And that's fine. And I had leftovers from however long ago that I had already, I'd been working on those and I wanted to get them done before they were going to go bad. And I didn't want to waste the money on this food that we had purchased and or made.
Sure.
Before it went off. So I was like, okay, I'm eating this. You'll have to find something else. So eventually, it ends up being like 8:15, 8:30 at night. She's like, okay, I ordered Thai. Can you go pick it up for me? I was like, all right. So I walk outside and I start sticking the keys into the my car and realize I'm like, oh, I've got my wife's keys. This is stupid. So I pull them back out. And as I'm pulling the keys back out, I look up and above my car is the most elegant spider web I think I've ever witnessed in my life.
Like
Beautiful.
Charlotte's Web?
Beautiful spider web. It was absolutely beautiful. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. And right in the middle of it is this massive, what I think is wolf spider. I'm talking, think of like your standard, like you see the keyless entry things for your car, like the little guys with the buttons on it, right? That was about the size of that guy. Was about that big. I was looking up at him going, what? He's massive. I go back inside, drop off the wrong keys, pick up mine. I tell Sarah, I'm like, Sarah, you have to come see this. She's deathly afraid of spiders. But I was like, you have to see this. This is
Why invite her then?
Because it was so massive. She didn't even have to get close. She could see it from, and Brian, and Burke, how far away my front door is from like the very first parking spot. Yeah. It is 8:30 at night. It's dead dark out there. You just have a little bit of light, but you could see him from that far away. Easy. Like completely
Holy
easy.
crap.
You could see him.
He cast a shadow?
Literally, basically, he could cast a shadow and he would have been like, wow. It looks like a small mouse is crawling up that spider web right now. And so I'm looking at it. I'm like, holy crap. So I eventually get back to my car and I put the keys in. I unlock the door. I start pulling the door open and I'm staring at the spider and the web going, am I pulling the web somehow closer to me?
Oh,
no. Nope, I'm not. Okay, good. Okay, I'm going to open it, keep my eye on it, and jump in, close the door. Okay, I don't think he can get in. I'm going to double check. Windows are all up. Does he know how to use a door? I don't think so. I'll lock the door anyway, just in case. I lock the door up. I pull out. I start running off. And the thing that ended up being funny to me is how much your mind starts playing tricks on you. Every single hair that moved on my leg, every fiber from my shorts that I was wearing that moved imperceptibly normally, automatically I was assuming the assassin spider was about to come and get me, right? I am.
Is it crawling on my leg?
Basically, like it's something would happen. I'd look down and I'm like, nope, no spider, just my leg hair. Nothing's happening. And all of a sudden, just anything, my shirt would slightly shift because of the air conditioning that I had on. And it would, oh, nope, okay, nothing's on my arm. I'm good. And then of course I get to the place and I have to get out to get the food. I'm going, what if he's hanging onto the door and he's got his little arms ready to just slice my throat open as soon as I open this door?
He was Terminator 2ing it, where he's just hanging onto the back of the car the whole time. He's like, I'm going to get you.
As I open the door, I'm like, I don't see him on the roof. Close, go and get the food, come back out, get back in, and then I drive back. And of course, I'm still kind of twitchy a little bit. When I drive back, and then just the same thing, I'm getting back out of the thing. I'm like, I bet this fucker's hiding behind a tree, isn't he? He's just waiting. He's like peeking out, looking at me, going, there he is. There's the guy that destroyed my beautiful home and ready to just jump all over me.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no thank you.
It scared
So
me.
how did Sarah react though?
She jaw dropped, shut the door, and then I heard her lock it. I was still outside. Came back home, door was still
You
locked.
kind of deserve that for making her go to look at
I
it.
mean,
I just thought it was funny just how much your mind plays tricks on you during that whole thing. Going, oh nope, that's it. Nope, that's not a spider.
Scare
Basically, that's what it felt
yeah,
like.
really. But I mean, it is the time of year where you kind of, start thinking about that kind
You
of
have
thing
to start thinking about that kind of thing.
because of, a certain time of year, certain holiday coming up.
Thanksgiving.
Burke, you nailed it yet again, my friend.
Yes. All
Arbor
right.
Day?
I was going to say, let's sing Jingle Bells, the only Thanksgiving song there is. That was the Thanksgiving song.
Was it really?
It was.
Yeah, it was originally written.
Should have used that for your trivia quiz you're making for Christmas, but too late now. We all know it.
Oh, wait, we can't jump too many holidays ahead because today's topic is about Halloween.
Yes, Brian, because this is fall.
Yeah.
And you absolutely love fall. This is your least favorite holiday.
Oh my God, this is my favorite holiday, bar none. There is
Shocker.
no greater holiday than Halloween.
Shocker.
I know, right? But no, man, it's tons of fun. It's a good time for both adults. It's a good time for kids. It's a good time for pretty much any human being in basically North America, because around the world they don't really celebrate it too much because it's too Americanized now. So it's but yeah, it's awesome. I love it.
Is it really more Americanized, and that where people are like, I'm done with this?
Australia like outright refuses to acknowledge that it exists because they're like, no, that's an American thing. Like no, that's not happening. Like all over the world, it's pretty much died out.
It also happens to fall on a day that other cultures celebrate semi-related holidays, but it's so commercialized here now too, it kind of stomps all over their holiday.
Yeah. So it's kind of eating it up, but I'm not going to let that spoil my fun because I grew up here in America, and in America we celebrate the greatest of all holidays, Halloween. So to start off with, we got a lot to talk about today. I'm going to talk about costumes to start off. That's okay with you guys. And I want to share with you a story from my childhood that has stuck with me since I was 5 years old. So, to give you guys an idea, I've always loved Halloween, and especially as a kid, the best thing ever was I got to go trick-or-treating at my grandparents' house, or more specifically, their neighborhood. Because all the houses were really close together, it gave me an opportunity to get more candy, right? So, as a kid, I was 5 years old. I dressed up as, shocker, guys, a Ghostbuster. I know,
really?
right? And so I was dressed up as a Ghostbuster, and I had the jumpsuit.
Wait.
What?
The Ghostbusters movie didn't come out till this year.
Oh, don't you start with me. You're so funny. Oh, God. But anyway, the point is that I dressed up as a Ghostbuster, and I had like the jumpsuit. I had the plastic pack, the one that from the cartoon series. I don't know if you guys remember this. And if you're a kid, you grew up in the whatever, yeah, you can find it online if you know what I'm talking about. Point is that I had this thing and I wore it around, and I was so excited because I had a proton pack and I had the jumpsuit, and I was so excited to go out and trick or treat. Well, we started off going house to house to house, and this is true. Down the street from my grandparents, one of my grandparents' good friends, a nice old lady named Peggy, was dressed up as a witch. So her house had a spotlight out in front of it, but she replaced the bulb with a green bulb. So as I'm approaching, I see a greenhouse with a witch standing in front of it with a cauldron, right, that had candy in it, but you couldn't see that because I was 5 and I was really short, of course. And I just see this, and she looks like a witch. She has the lighting like a witch. Everything you hear, like the, sound effects going off. And I go, oh Jesus, oh God, I can't do it. And I turn to my dad. I go, we're not going to this house. We gotta skip it. And my dad says to me, Brian, why? What do you mean? Why would you skip? skip this house. And I go, there's a witch. And he goes, but you're a Ghostbuster. You got a proton pack and stuff. I go, mine is fake. She's real. I'm like, she's real. That's a real ass witch. And like her costume was like so good, and she wore that same costume every year. And so every year as I got older, I got to know the actual woman, of course, who was there. Her name was Peggy. So it's like, so as I got older, I was like, hey, remember the time I basically crapped myself when I was 5 coming up to you. But yeah, anyway, the point is that
I had a similar thing for one of my next door neighbors when I was real young. I would say probably 5. No, it was 5 or less because we hadn't moved yet. So it was before I was 5, and I just remember their front porch. They always had someone sitting that was completely costume up. And I obviously the first time around I didn't know this, but they were sitting next to the bowl of candy, but you couldn't tell it was somebody in there. And so you'd walk up to it, and that's when they would jump and scare you, because it literally didn't look like, especially when I was that young, it did not look like somebody was in that costume. It just looked like a prop sitting on this chair next to the bowl. And so the first time I went up there, I was like, oh yeah, candy. And I was even being good. I grabbed one candy, put it in my bag, and the person jumped out at me, and I never went back to that house again. Just skipped that thing. Right. I was like, nope, done. I'm never. It was my next door neighbor too. Never went back to that house again.
Do you remember what your costume was that year?
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay, all right.
I can probably remember. I can barely remember any of my costumes, truthfully.
Really?
Yeah.
See, like that's why I figured that talking about costumes first would be an easy one for like kind of the layup question, because I mean, I can remember dozens of costumes, throughout the years.
So can I.
In terms of, I'll go first real quick here. In terms of things that I remember before I hit the age, because I stopped trick-or-treating, I think in 5th grade. Like 5th grade was either the last year or that was...
I stopped trick-or-treating, but I did not stop dressing up.
See, like I never liked to dress up in the first place. But you had to do it if you wanted to go get candy. And I was a fat kid wanting to go get candy, so that was happening. I would say it was sheesh. I remember being Genie from Aladdin one year, and I want to say I was a Ninja Turtle at one point, but I think that's all I can remember offhand. From before I was, like a teenager and above, when I dressed up as Ezio for that one costume party you and I went to.
That was a cool costume. That thing was legit.
Other than that, actually. Counting that, there was one year when I was 16, my cousin and his friend, who were like 26 at the time, 26, 27, they wanted candy, and they wanted to take me out to go get candy, and so they would get candy as well. So they had me paint my face. They literally brought over face paint, like, let's paint your face, we want to go take you out trick-or-treating so we get candy too. And that was like when I was like 15 or 16. But other than that, those are the only things I remember ever going out dressed as.
What turtle were you, by the way? One last
It'd
thing
be
with
Donatello
that.
For sure.
Donatello for sure. I went as Leo once. Mike went as Michelangelo that year. Michelle, you said you knew some offhand?
Yeah. So I remember being Cookie Monster for a few years when I was really little. Witch, a female devil, a baby, a princess. One year I had a Sonic costume, and it was one of those that had like the, those great plastic masks that we had as kids where you literally couldn't breathe and you just suffocated in it all day.
I never wore those.
Oh, God, it was
I was
the
too
worst.
creeped
I
out.
think it's like literally the reason I have a fear of asphyxiation is like that mask. But everyone loved the costume, so I was like, don't take it off. Like, but my most memorable is when I think it was 15, I just woke up on Halloween morning and I didn't have a costume, and I was kind of like, I want to wear a costume to school today. So I'm like looking around home, like, what can I do that's homemade? And I had this old pair of white pajamas, and I found some face paint, so I dressed up as the girl from The Ring. And
oh, nice.
Like, people were flipping their shit.
That's awesome.
At school.
Wow.
Like, I don't know if you guys like remember it or like heard anything, but like my sister was in
I feel like I do.
the grade below, and like her teacher, one of the younger English teachers at our school, had just started that year, and she walked out of her classroom. She looked at me, she burst into tears, and she locked her classroom.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Like, I was, like, on the bus, like, the next day, and people were like, oh my God, did you see that creepy-ass girl last night? Like, they were talking about it for, like, 3 days, and I was just like, this is the best. And then there was a time where, like, the costume was, like, I mean, everyone loved it, and so many people didn't even realize it was me. And then I used the same costume in a Spanish skit, and my parents' house has an old well in front of it, so I was crawling out of the well as part of this skit.
Oh
and
my
the cross-country team is, like, running by my house because they rain down my road a lot because it's so close to the school. And they look, they see me coming out of this well, they all stop, and they're just like, what the fuck? Like, they just all freak out, stop mid-run. They're just staring at my house, and I'm like, hey, guys.
Just a normal day.
But that was the most fun I've ever had with a Halloween costume, because, like, that was a pretty recent scary movie at the time, and it was, like, one that bothered, like, a lot of people for some reason. So it was just the whole thing was great, and it was the easiest costume ever, because I didn't even have to put, like, any effort into it.
Oh man.
Nice. So growing up, I don't remember hardly any costumes. Like, there is no memory at all. I've seen a picture of me dressed as, like, this creepy little clown thing that my parents dressed me up as.
You were the creepy clowns that they're talking about?
Yeah, before it was cool. And
hipster clown
before you got arrested doing shit like that. So yeah, but after that, I could not tell you. The next thing I remember is, I think I found a pair of camo pants, and my uncle, who was in the Air Force, gave me basically a gunny hat, and I wore that, and I went as, like, a G.I. Joe for 3 years in a row, just because I'm not creative. So yeah, that was those were my costumes that I remember growing up. I was like Craig, I didn't do much.
Man.
But now that I'm older, I've done a few in the past few years. So I think the first one was it was a party at my sister-in-law's house, and I didn't know what we were gonna do. We didn't know what we were gonna do, but Emily and I had to go, and so we're like, okay. Well, I went and got scrubs from a store across the street and dirtied them up, and then shaved my head in patches, like I was ripping it out, and I kind of glued a bunch of hair to my hand. What? And I was completely dirty,
my
and
God.
I had a handcuff on one hand, like I was an escaped mental asylum patient.
Nice.
So that was, and Emily went as one as well, and, like, did some crazy shit to her hair, and yeah, so that was kind of fun. And then I think one of the ones I'm I guess most proud of was, I was on a business trip for like 3 months, and it was when I was overseas. I flew into Africa for, I think it was on the 30th, and I didn't know anybody, and I met some people and said, hey, we're having a party at our house that was on the little light security compound, or we call it a light security prison. It was on the compound, and they said, we're having a Halloween party, come over. And I was like, okay. I was like, costumes? He go, yeah, you gotta dress up. And I'm like, I've been gone for 3 months from home. I didn't think it was Halloween. So I open my suitcase up, and I have a pair of jeans, and I have a white V-neck shirt, because I was, dressing in nicer clothes. I'm like, I'll go as Wolverine. So, or I'll go. So I had long hair because I hadn't cut my hair. So I got some gel and kind of shaped my hair like the movies. And
sure.
And I had a beard. So I just shaved my beard like the
Nice.
like the movies as well.
Like Hugh Jackman.
Like Hugh Jackman's beard. Yeah, I did that, and that I went as Wolverine. And so, of course, I was new to everyone on this. It was an island, on the island, and they're like, "Hey, man, what's your name?" I'm like, Logan. They didn't know whether to believe me or not. So, but that was probably one I was most proud of. Right there.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. See, like, I love dressing up on Halloween, but I love, like, costume authenticity. If I guess that's the right way to put it. But, like, like when people put effort into their costumes, like, it doesn't have to be like a store bought or like super amazing or whatever, but like if you can tell somebody put a lot of heart into their costume, that's what matters.
Oh, wait, I have one more.
Oh no, please go ahead.
I just remember this. It was kind of for Halloween. It was for a work thing, and what's his name? It was basically dress up as rock stars or a rock star something night. So I decided I was going to go as a punk rocker. So Billy Joel Armstrong from Green Day.
Yes.
So I went as him. I put on eyeliner and all this stuff. I didn't cut all my hair off. I left a little bit of tuft under my lip, so I had a little tuft, and then I shaved my head into a mohawk and dyed it red.
Oh, nice.
And wore a black shirt, red tie.
You're willing to really go in on these, like as far as like dye your hair or whatever?
I cut my hair. Yeah, I don't care. I'll cut my hair and do all that stuff because I'll just shave it off the next day anyway if I have to.
Well, that's just it. I was so afraid to dye my hair for Halloween because this is and Michelle, you might remember this, but one of the guys we went to school with went as Harry Potter for Halloween, and he was blonde like me, and he decided to dye his hair black, for the day, but like with like the spray or whatever, and it didn't come out.
I think I remember this.
Yeah. But when it came to costumes, like I always picked my heroes. So for me, like Halloween was a chance for me to pick or to be the hero that I wanted to be. Like, so for when I was a kid, it was Ghostbusters, Batman, Power Rangers, Ninja Turtles, that kind of thing. Then when I got older and I was into different types of shows and different types of like mediums, whatever, I went as Zorro one year, and I was psyched because I got an actual like fencing foil for it, and it was super, super awesome. So because I was watching there was a cartoon. It was a Zorro cartoon I was into. One year I went to Sherlock Holmes because I was into the Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century, which I know it was a really short-lived, stupid, bad cartoon, but I really loved it, so whatever. But the point is, there was so cool. Like there was always so much fun getting to dress up and become those characters. But now that you're an adult, like it's still one of those things where like I like to dress up still, but I'm always looking for a reason to dress up. Like I'm always like, oh, so it's Halloween. What's everybody up to? Kind of thing. And it's just any chance I can get to like an excuse to go to Joann Fabric and bust out a pattern to make a costume, I'll do it. Like I am so in on that. Call it bad or whatever.
And the opposing side, I am actively looking to avoid Halloween parties and all that stuff because I don't like doing the dress up thing. It just has no appeal to me, almost on any level. There was a couple times we had to dress up. The first year in school, down at Lipscomb-Burke. I don't think you were a part of this. I ended up with
I didn't go to
Beal
that.
And somebody else. I don't know. There's two guys. I can't think of the other guy's name, but he was like, "Hey, we're all gonna." I can't remember what we were going to do, but it was something that needed to be. You needed to dress up for it, and for whatever reason they're like, oh, we're gonna go to here, we're gonna go to the army surplus store, and we're gonna dress up and we're gonna go as like the guys from Commando. And he wouldn't say like actors, he just kept saying characters' names, and I was like, I've never seen Commando.
Well, that's the only way to know which character.
I know, but like he was like, Commando, you haven't seen Commando? I was like, no. He was like, well, it's like with the guy that's this, and I was like, I haven't seen that. Who's in it? He's like, it's the guy that. And I still haven't seen Commando, but obviously isn't it a Schwarzenegger movie?
Arnold Schwarzenegger's Commando is his best work. Yes.
Yeah. So he was like, yeah, we're going as, and he kept saying the character's name. I'm like, it still doesn't tell me what kind of movie it is. Like that gives me nothing. And he would never.
Did he say John Matrix?
Yeah, he probably said John Matrix or some shit like that constantly, and would not say like actors' names. And I was like, okay, whatever, let's just go. And so we went to this army surplus store, bought a bunch of crap, so we could dress up. And I don't remember what it was. And then we had to dress up for a. Like the idea was really cool. Is they had this was right after the movie Dodgeball came out. We had a dodgeball tournament in the square at school.
Yeah, that's right.
And they like literally put in the middle of the square, in the middle of campus, they erected like a fence. and they drew and
cool.
taped off or whatever it was. They put the grounds down to make an official dodgeball court in the middle of it, and you had to come dressed as like a themed team. And we ended up doing William Wallace's Army. And again, it was another time where I was like, I've never seen this movie. So if you guys are looking for help on what I need to do for this, I have no idea. You guys are going to have to instruct me the whole time. Those
costumes were awesome.
That was a lot of fun just because I liked, like, literally everybody came out and we were one of the few teams that got in the tournament. And so it was pretty cool. Like, I enjoyed the fact I was playing in front of other people, and I did not like the fact that I was dressed up in front of other people.
Oh, wait.
And
Craig enjoyed the fact there was a competitive sport?
The fact that he was playing dodgeball in a kilt and wasn't wearing any underwear on.
I was wearing nothing but a kilt.
Yeah.
And a sash. I had a sash on as well.
Yes, it was awesome.
That's a mental image I really wish I didn't have. Thank you for
I don't remember
planting that
any of
there,
the other teams, what they were wearing. I don't remember anything like that,
Nope.
but I remember like how the tournament went down. I remember when I got people out, when people got me out. I remember watching from the sidelines as some of my guys got out on some of these things. Like that's the stuff I remember from that. And not to toot my own horn, but I don't know, Burke, if you were there for this part, but it was coming down to the championship game. We ended up losing the championship game.
Yeah, I remember.
But one of the final rounds, it was 2-on-1. I was the only one left. They both threw the dodgeball at me at the same time, and I caught both of them.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
I was so happy. I was fucking pumped.
All while
I was
free
fucking
balling.
pumped up as all shit. I like just threw the fucking balls and screamed. It was around Halloween that time, just to let you know.
Yeah. Oh, sure it was. Sure. So, it's like going off that, speaking about Halloween there, let me ask you guys about your favorite candy.
Ooh.
Say, does anybody have any particular candy that they would say like, oh yeah, this is my like when you were a kid or maybe as an adult now, you like this is my jam?
Snickers.
Snickers was my favorite as a kid, but from about the age of, I would say roughly around 18-ish, it went to a different candy, and all of you are going to hate me more than likely.
Yes, we will.
If you say anything with coconut, you're out of the podcast.
No,
Michelle's back
coconut is no coconut. It's candy corn.
Oh, it's worse.
Oh,
Candy
corn
corn.
tastes like
Candy corn.
wax.
Barf.
Oh, it's gross.
I've got a bag right here.
Oh, God.
And like my favorite thing to do with it is to mix it with honey roasted peanuts. Like you just put them all in a big bowl together. Holy crap, that is so good. It's the sweet and salty of amazing.
Do you want me to actually tell you what candy corn is made of?
I don't care. I'm still gonna eat it.
Earwax and sugar,
Okay.
because that's what it feels and tastes like.
It's straight up is just like you're eating handfuls of high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah.
And it's it like
That's
and,
like your point.
I had actually learned about it when I was doing research for the quiz this week, and like it's basically like it shuts off the part or like it dampens the part of your brain that tells your body when it's full, so you eat way more than you ever could imagine because your brain is literally just getting like drugged, going nope, where I'm good.
That makes perfect sense.
But yeah,
Makes absolute perfect sense.
If you like it, hey, if you like it, you like it.
Oh, I love it.
But yeah, I was a Snickers kid myself. Like just like Michelle as a kid. Although I will admit that I was a big fan of cherry blow pops. Like those were cool because I got the sucker and I got gum afterward. So that was kind of fun.
I had a big obsession with Carmelo for a bit
Anthony?
there. So yes, the basketball player for the Knicks or Nuggets, depending on what time frame you're wanting to go with. But no, the Carmelo bars, I was really obsessed with those for a while. I really liked them.
I've never had one.
Really?
Yeah, what is a Carmelo bar?
Is anybody else?
It's like literally just caramel and chocolate.
Yeah, it's just
No idea.
think of it's kind of like the caramel chocolate equivalent of a Kit Kat. It's a long bar, but it's broken up into 4 segments, 4 squares, and it's just chocolate and with caramel on the inside.
Caramel. Is it? Oh wait, are we about to have that topic here on the podcast of if it's caramel or caramel?
If you want to.
Nope, don't care.
Does anyone have any strong feelings on this? I just want to make sure that we're because I say caramel.
I say both, actually. It depends on how I'm referring to it.
You've been away from home too long, Michelle.
Well, most people don't pronounce the A that's after the R. Most people are like caramel, like Carmel, and there's an A in between there, so it's caramel.
Caramel.
Yeah, that's why caramel makes sense. Or if you say caramel, you got to make sure to put the A in there. If you're saying caramel, then you're literally saying a wrong word.
caramel.
Yeah, that's wrong.
See, I've always referred to it as caramel when I'm talking about it, like kind of solidified. Like I'm eating like those caramels that you can just buy wrapped up individually and eat. And then if it's the liquid stuff, I say caramel.
I'll take a caramel macchiato.
This is like the whole Berenstain Bears,
Oh,
debacle. Like it's the same sort of thing where everybody remembers it's Berenstein, and it's Berenstain.
That's all I remembered was Berenstein. That's how I read it my entire life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. Everyone did, which is why it's creepy. But anywho, so I mentioned a story where I got scared, and Craig mentioned one where he got scared. For you guys, when it came to Halloween, Michelle and Burke, was it a scary event for you? Was it a fun event for you? Were you into the horror aspect of things?
I liked scaring people.
Oh, so you were the scarer. You didn't enjoy being scared.
I didn't. Good luck scaring me.
He's like, I've seen things.
Yeah, I remember. I think this might have been after Craig left, but we would always go to horror haunted houses, whatever, in Nashville, with the fraternity, social club, whatever you wanted to call it, and we would always go and always had to have a date and blah blah blah. So I'd always ask someone. Well, most of the time I didn't give a shit about the girl, so I would disappear. Because
wait! You didn't invite a girl to a scary event and then just totally see you and just peace on her?
Well,
really?
The stupid things, like you had to have a date if you were going to go. I remember
have a date.
I remember sometimes no, you can't go stag. I was like, I don't want to bring somebody.
Yeah,
it was stupid.
Then don't go.
I was gonna say you guys should have just brought each other. You would have solved a lot of problems.
No, you literally had to bring someone that was outside of the club, and it had to be a female, from what I remember.
Yep, pretty much. So anyways,
stupid.
That's unfortunate.
So anyways, I would always wear black, because when you go into these places, they always have black lights and all this stuff. So I would make sure I'd wear all black, so I never stuck out. And because the people in the haunted house couldn't touch you. Mm-hmm. Well, I could.
Wait, what?
So what? I would scare the shit out of people.
You could not have made that sound any worse.
Really?
Yes.
Burke, you made it sound like you like they were there to scare me. I was there for Fight Club. It's like, what? Guy comes out, ooh, I'm a scary chainsaw guy, and you're just on the ground and just.
No, I didn't scare those people. I scared the people that I came with.
Oh, that's different. Okay, I see.
Oh my god, that'd have been hilarious
Please.
if you were going after the people that worked the thing.
Yeah, like they're all running out scared as hell, and then meanwhile they're like, "There's a nut job in there."
Burke's running out with a chainsaw that actually has blades on it. He was cutting through props to get at people.
Here's Berkey, just breaking through the walls.
I like that. Yeah. Maybe I should have done that.
Oh my god! This is where I wish we had a fan who could animate, and I would ask them to see Burke busting through a plywood wall, scaring the hell out of people.
He's wearing all black, and I don't know why. He's got a ninja mask on as well.
Oh man, but the point is that you like to scare people, but you were not okay.
Yeah, I never really got scared. I mean, which is crazy because as a little kid, I couldn't watch Independence Day and any kind of scary movie.
Oh, really?
Goosebumps scared me to death. I couldn't watch any of that stuff because I would get nightmares. But then once I realized it was fake and whatnot and whatever, I would literally just hide in the bushes and scare people who came up to trick or treat and stuff like that. That was a lot more fun.
So for me, when I was a kid, I mean, maybe my parents have different stories, but I remember being pretty fearless as a kid. I watched various scary movies, no effect. I never got scared of anything on Halloween. I'd go to haunted houses and I'd be that person that's just laughing at everybody. And then there was just I guess just a few years where I didn't really do anything. And then as an adult, I'm oh my god, what if there's a clown in this? I'm gonna stab somebody if there's a clown in this haunted house. And I'm I'm freaking out. But as a kid, it wasn't scary to me as a kid, but it is as an adult. But I do always remember kind of having this feeling of slight anxiety for Halloween, because when I was, I think, 6 or so, I spent Halloween weekend in the hospital, and I was always afraid that I was going to get sick again and miss another Halloween. My parents went trick-or-treating for me, and some people gave them candy, but most of them looked at them like they were just, liars trying to get free candy.
Sure.
So, but then like it spawned like a few years later. My dad had purchased a bunch of candy for trick-or-treaters and then didn't really have trick-or-treaters, so he actually like ended up taking it to a hospital to give it to kids that were in the hospital for Halloween, because like he remembered that year. But I was always afraid I was going to get sick again and miss Halloween.
When you were saying that, it's like when my dad took it to the hospital, like, you're talking about earlier about how I was thinking about like how I would be the asshole or whatever. In my head, I thought you were gonna like jokingly finish the story. My dad brought the candy to the hospital and gave it to the diabetics, and I was like,
Oh my lord.
I was like,
No.
it's like for whatever reason, my brain went to the dark place with that one. So
Yeah, but like in general, as a kid, I didn't get really scared of anything except, to relate to you, Brian, Goosebumps in general did not bother me except for Night of the Living Dummy. That dummy terrified me my whole life. And then like there was another time I was like sleeping at a friend's house and her brother was playing like Devil May Cry, and I woke up while he was playing it and there was like a marionette, and I had like these traumatic flashbacks to Night of the Living Dummy. Like that particular one is the only one that got to me.
did you ever watch the show Ghost Rider?
I don't think
it was
so.
a PBS show, but
Yep.
you remember this one. Okay, so Burke, do you remember the one that had the dummy in that one as that one as well?
I don't believe I do.
So it was basically like the Night of the Living Dummy, like, but I saw that one before I saw Night of the Living Dummy, and it was, but the whole thing was that this thing would run around, and when it would get the kids, it would put them in like, I don't know how else to call it other than like imagine like a black tar substance, but like encase them in like a cocoon of this stuff, right? And he was like grabbing all the kids, and I saw that, and that terrified the crap out of me, Michelle. So to this day, I kid you not, if I see like dolls, like little girl dolls and that kind of thing, they creep me out.
Yeah, I get creeped out by dolls, marionettes, puppets. Like I'm like,
Yeah, same.
I'm okay without all that stuff.
Yeah, I look at them and I'm like, this isn't fun for anyone. I don't know who's into this, but like when I remember when what's that guy the really famous comedian who uses them, the stand-up guy who has the
Jeff
puppets.
Dunham?
Jeff Dunham bust onto the scene, and I remember when he first came on the scene, and I saw like a preview of like what he was doing I didn't hear what he was saying. I just saw what he was doing. I'm like, I hope that man is like, this is a joke that he's actually becoming famous, because like he's a creeper. He has puppets. He's a creeper. And then I listened to him, and he's actually kind of funny. But
He
anyway.
is funny, but I was just like, I really don't want to watch the puppet, so I'll just listen to the puppet.
Exactly. Yes, I do the same thing. But no, I wanted to come back to the kind of tie it all back together. Earlier when you mentioned the masks and not being able to breathe in them or whatever. When I was a kid and I saw the Goosebumps one with the mask, with the Halloween mask, where he puts it on and he starts to become that like demon thing. Remember that? Remember that
For
episode?
what?
In Goosebumps, there was an episode called like The Mask or something like that, where
Yes, I remember that one.
yeah, so for Halloween, this kid gets a mask, and it's a full plastic mask, and he puts it on, and then he can't take it off, and he starts to become the evil monster that the mask was. And there's a scene where they start floating around, and a whole bunch of creepy stuff happens. But the point is that literally the only rule I ever had my entire life is no masks. None. I refuse to wear a mask because of that. Like, it creeps me out to this day that I'm like, I am not putting on a mask because I cannot take it off. Like, I won't even put it on in a store for like, hey, let me put this on for be silly. I won't do it. Like, it creeps me out. But I don't know. It's childhood phobia that carries over, I suppose. But yeah, oh man, Goosebumps. That was legit. I loved being scared, like spooked out. Not scared, but spooked out. If that makes any sense.
I don't know how much maybe it played into it. One of the things for me, and I don't know if it is the same for you, Brian. I know it was the same. You were playing as well, but one of the things I could never do was, I was always playing football during the time, so it always felt like we were going till. Sheesh! I mean, we got out of school at what time did we get out? 2:30 something, right?
Yeah, we were on the field by 3.
And on the field by 3, and then we were going till like 6 o'clock at night or whatever. It was basically those practices, or back in the day when it was before high school football practices. Those were ones that were They started at like 5 or 6 because the coaches couldn't get out of work till then, so it might not start till 5 or 6 or 7 or something like that, and you're not getting home till 9 or 10. I remember having plenty of those, and so where it's just like, yeah, you're not going to end up going trick or treating, you're not going to end up doing anything. And I just remember it never was really something big for a long time because of that.
And now it sucks too, like, because like around here the trick-or-treaters have to be back indoors by 6:30 and it's still light outside.
Yeah,
that's
like,
no fun.
There's so many rules now for it. It sucks so bad.
Yeah,
like citywide rules.
Yeah, there's like citywide rules. They had them back in Michigan.
I'm clueless.
They had them at least back in Michigan where it was. I mean, I remember this from just beforehand. It was like, oh, nope, you have to trick or treat from the time of 6 to 7. Like, that's the time.
Yep.
If anybody's out, do not give them candy past 7 o'clock because you want to.
Here, they will literally arrest parents if they have their kids out.
Yeah.
Wow, that's ridiculous.
Because
I mean,
it's like a
safety
curfew
thing,
and
yeah.
safety and stranger danger and,
I mean, you're already accepting food from strangers. I don't know how much more dangerous that it can get, but yeah, I meend it's the truth is that they have all those weird curfews and such. I mean, we had curfews when we were kids, but they were much later, and it was into the night.
Yeah, like it was dark. I feel like when our curfew ended, at least.
Yeah, that's true. It was definitely dark.
I don't think there's a curfew here. Is there one in Tennessee, Craig?
Yeah. There's. I
remember last year I was up there and your little niece and nephew, they were out way after dark.
No, they weren't. They didn't even go trick or treating after dark. I don't think, because they do it on a Sunday. They call it trunk or treat, and they all just get into a church parking lot.
Well,
and
that's a whole church. But the kids, they went, because I was at your parents' house on the 31st. Remember, I had my head shaved and I looked like a white Mr. T.
No.
White Mr. T.
Oh, dude, it was, yeah.
I think I think sometimes you can go to like stores and malls and stuff set up where there's like public things available. It's just walking the streets is the problem.
Yeah, that's true. But actually, it's funny that you mentioned legal trouble because there may in fact be a question on my quiz that we're about to take that involves that.
Ooh.
So yeah, but you didn't. Don't worry, it's not that one there. So, and with that being said, if you guys are ready, I'd like to jump into the quiz.
Let's do it.
I'm not ready.
You're not ready. All right. So Burke, do you already have an order written down, or do you want me to pick the order here?
Let's see. I'm not last. Craig goes last this week. I think Michelle goes last next week. Yep, there we go.
Okay.
So yeah, I think I'm first this week.
So it's Burke, Michelle, then Craig. Okay, cool. All right, you guys ready for this? This is the Halloween quiz. The first half of the quiz, just to give you guys a little context, is going to be about the history of Halloween and some things that go along with it. And then the second half is more about like candy and that kind of thing. So, starting it off, let's go. Number 1. Although there is a dispute over the origins of Halloween, most agree that that the precursor was an Irish festival for the dead. This festival was known as blank. Hint, blank phobia is the fear of Halloween. So in other words, if you didn't know the name of the festival, this might help you that it's blank phobia is the fear of Halloween. It's both the same name.
God, I hate going first.
It's tough.
Dios de lo muerte. I can't even speak it.
Dios de la muerte.
There you go. That's
Muerte. Yeah.
Even though that's
the Day of the Dead in Spanish, I know.
Yeah, Spanish and not Irish. But let's go. That's my answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Festival of Mike Green.
Festival of Mike Green. Craig going out of order. Okay. All right.
I was just
Appreciate
gonna
it.
say I thought Craig got to go last.
Yep. That's how much I know. Go ahead.
Okay, Michelle.
I think it's, I don't know how to say it. I think it's something like Simhan or something like that. Saimhan is close to the spelling I'm thinking of, but I don't know if that's the right answer.
I'm going to give it to you. It is Sam Hain.
There we go.
And Samhain is also the name of the spirit of Halloween in the real Ghostbusters cartoon. It was the pumpkin head and flies around, one of the most infamous villains. I'm sure all of you remember that part.
Which is exactly what I was thinking of course.
Exactly. But the point is, I was funny. I couldn't help but put this question on the quiz because, like, literally my entire childhood came up when I was researching, and I'm like, of course Samhain is the spirit of Halloween because, like that was my childhood.
Ghostbusters.
Of course, in a nutshell, right? All right, number 2. Carving pumpkins is a favorite tradition of Halloween, but did you know that the earliest jack-o'-lanterns were actually made from blank? So, and it's not pumpkins. What were they carved into?
Cantaloupes.
Cantaloupes from Burke.
I'm gonna say squash.
Squash.
Being that they're called jack-o'-lanterns, I'm going to go with Jack Bauer.
Jack Bauer. Craig gets the point just because that is the most ridiculous answer I've ever heard in my life. But the answer is turnips.
There's no time.
Turnip for what? Exactly. It's turnips. Turnips were the initial. It went from turnips to gourds to pumpkins when they came to America, and they were like, hey, check these out. They're way bigger. So that's it. Number 3. The word witch comes from the Old English word for, and I'm gonna say it and then spell it for you. It's wick, W-I-C-C-E, or wiss. I don't know how to say it exactly, but I believe it's wick is the base for it, meaning blank. So the question is, the word witch comes from the Old English word wick, meaning blank. Hint: people called Wiccan were highly respected at one time. So when this word was around. So the Wick, W-I-C-C-E, eventually became Wiccan, and so the word comes from that. What is the meaning of that word?
Like, I think craft.
Craft.
Something like that. Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
Magic.
Magic from Michelle.
I'm going to go with healer or medicine, like in that realm.
You guys are all kind of in the ballpark, but the answer is wise woman. So, wise woman. If you call it's W-I-C-C-E is an Old English word. It became obviously Wiccan. It's wise woman. So, I'm going to say nobody gets the point on that one. There's still plenty of questions left. All right. Number 4.
It's a 45 question quiz with 95 bonus points.
You guys have no idea how many questions I could have added to this. Like this was making this quiz. I was like, I'm having a okay time making this. I won't say a great time because there was a lot of fact checking involved. Like anyway, I'm not going to get into it, but there was a lot. But anyway, number 4. According to tradition, if a person wears his or her clothes inside out and then walks backwards on Halloween, then they will see a blank at midnight. So if you wear your clothes inside out and walk backwards on Halloween, then you will see a blank at midnight.
Zombie?
A zombie, okay.
Yeah.
I know this isn't the right answer, but I can't think of the right one. Ghost.
Ghost?
I'm going to go with a psychiatrist. You'll end up seeing your psychiatrist.
Well, that might be the better answer. The answer is a witch. A witch. It's a you should.
I'm giving Craig half a point for that one.
Actually, you should get half a point. You broke Burke, so yeah, you definitely get half a point for that.
I get points for breaking Burke?
You do. Yeah, absolutely. All right, this one's probably one of the hardest ones. Number 5. During pre-Halloween celebrations for Samhain, bonfires were lit to ensure the sun would return after the long winter. Often, druid priests would throw in blank into the flames. This is how we now today have the term for bonfire. So, in other words, bonfire is created because of pre-Halloween traditions of throwing blank into the flames. What did they throw into the flames?
Let's go with. This is the okay. Give me the last part you said. The hint.
I'll just read the last part of it. Often, druid priests would throw blank into the flames. This is how we have the term bonfire today.
They threw bonbons.
Bonbons.
Damn you! I was gonna say that too.
Both of you were going with the Peg Bundy action? Okay.
That's still my answer because I can't think of a better one.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with bone shards.
I'm going to give Craig the point. The answer is bones of cattle. That's right. So they would throw bones into the fire, and that's how we have bonfire today.
All right.
Because it was a bone fire. So I think that's kind of cool. I thought that was kind of an interesting one.
Ever thrown a bone shard into a fire, Burke?
Yeah.
That's exactly where I got my answer from. Just
Fair
thinking
enough.
Dark Souls. That's how you
Dark
level up your
Souls.
stuff.
There you
enough.
go. Hey, so I guess you guys have bonfires in Dark Souls. Ah. Number 6. There are 2 locations in the United States that claim to be the self-proclaimed Halloween capitals of the world. What are the 2 locations? There are 2 points available, 1 point per location. So there's 2 places in the U.S. that claim that they are the Halloween capitals of the world. What are the 2 cities?
Let's go with Salem
Okay.
and Kalamazoo.
Okay. By the way, for the record, if anyone gets the second city, you might just like win the whole quiz just because it's so unbelievable. So, but go ahead. So go ahead and if Michelle wants to go ahead and guess.
You said the 2 places were in the U.S. but
Yes.
claim to be the Halloween capital of the world.
Correct.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Salem, Massachusetts, and Salem, Oregon.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Salem, and I'm also gonna go with Des Moines, Iowa.
Okay. Salem, you all get a point for that. That one's pretty easy. But the other one is Anoka, Minnesota.
ANOKA,
What?
Minnesota. It claims
That
to
was close.
is the other one that claims to be the Halloween capital of the world. Anoka, Minnesota. I think
Good job, Anoka.
Yeah, right. You're killing it.
Yeah, it's the first time I heard of you, so you're doing great.
Believe me, when I saw it, I go, that can't be right. And so I checked it, and sure enough, sure as hell, like the Anoka, Minnesota, plastered everywhere, Halloween capital.
Yeah,
Oh, God.
I googled it, and that's what it says.
Yep. See, I told you. I actually did fact checking on this one.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
know.
I mean, I believed you. I'm just.
No, you didn't. Let's be honest. It's okay. Number
In
7.
a completely unrelated study, I want to know what the distribution of pathological liars are in Anoka, Minnesota.
It's high. Oh, okay. Number 7. On Halloween, dressing up is tons of fun. But if you dress up as this in Alabama, you will be fined and or arrested. So this is what I was talking about earlier. There's one of these questions where you can get arrested or fined on Halloween if you dress up as blank. And this is in Alabama.
As Jason.
Jason.
I'm gonna go with Jesus.
Jesus.
I'm going to go with anything besides an Alabama football player.
Damn. Craig gets half a point.
but the I'll give it to Michelle. The answer is a priest. So I mean, it's a religious figure basically. Is kind of a
Yeah, I
blanket
figured it was
statement on
probably
it.
something like if you were sacrilegious.
Yeah, if you dress up
that's-
as a priest in Alabama, you will be
That's good.
fined and or arrested. So
I was actually thinking about saying religious figure, but I was like, fuck it.
you would have got the it's okay. Number 8. There's a legend about spiders on Halloween. So go back to Craig here, okay? If you see one on Halloween night, if you see one on Halloween night, if you see one, it is supposedly blank. So the legend about spiders on Halloween, if you see one, it's supposedly blank.
Alive.
Okay, alive.
Bad luck.
Bad luck.
Good luck.
Okay, the answer is this is a pretty popular legend. It's the spirit of a loved one watching you. So
Yes.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, go figure. So now from number
That wasn't even close.
it's okay. It's okay. Now, from number
Damn.
9 on, they're all really more related to candy and that kind of thing. So this should be a little bit easier. Here we go. Number 9. Halloween candy is amazing, especially when you're a kid and come home with a full bag. But on average, how many calories are in a typical child's loot bag? How many calories are in a typical child's loot bag?
5,793.
5,793.
Yep.
10,000.
10,000.
And this was my answer before you said your number, Michelle. 11,000.
The answer is 11,000. Woo! Dead on the money.
I think you put that question in there on purpose.
I did not.
I was afraid.
I did not.
If you guys want to avoid me getting answers right off the bat, just avoid the number 11 at all costs.
Number 10. Seeing that the three of us are from Michigan and one is from Texas, I'm going to offer 2 points up for the next question. What is the favorite Halloween candy of Michigan, and what is the favorite for Texas? So when they did the tallies and then whatever, and they broke it down by state as to which one has the most, picks one candy over another for either most bought or whatever it was. So what is Michigan's candy, and what is Texas's candy?
Let's go with Milky Ways for Michigan and Reese's for Texas.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Kit Kat for Michigan and Twix for Texas.
I'm going to go with M&M's for Michigan and candy corn for Texas.
That's exactly right, Craig.
I actually knew that one.
Did you really?
Yeah, I saw an infographic with it.
Oh, no kidding. Well, there you go.
Damn.
Well, Craig gets 2 points then.
Mm-hmm. And I actually told Burke, I don't know if you remember that, I started yelling at you last year for it sometime. I was like, haha, Texas likes candy corn.
Yeah, that's right. I remember getting all pissy about it. Who the fuck likes that shit?
I was like, I like that shit. You eat it.
Yeah, I think that was at your house, if I recall. Yeah.
Roughly.
Number 11. Contrary to popular belief, Milky Way bars were named for a blank popular in the 1920s and not the galaxy. So Milky Way bars were named for a popular blank in the 1920s, not the galaxy. So what are they named? What are they named for? Or named after, I should say.
Bob.
A popular Bob. Say in the 1920s, there was a popular Bob that made Milky Ways. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with a cocktail.
Cocktail.
I'm going to go with it was after a book.
Michelle was the closest, but I don't think I can give it to her. The answer is after a malt shake. So it was after.
I almost said malt balls.
You would have given it to you.
That was my real answer. I was like, that's not going to be right.
See, Bert, you always do that, man. You get the answers right, and then you second guess yourself. I'm telling you, man. All right, number 12. You may have known that Snickers is the most popular chocolate bar in the world, but did you know that it was named by Frank Mars after his blank? So Snickers may be the most popular chocolate bar in the world, but did you know that it was named after Frank Mars named it after his blank?
His poop, because it's what it looks like.
There, okay, his poop.
Yeah.
His puppy.
His puppy.
I was actually going to go with animal as well, his dog.
Ooh, I'd say if you would have gone with rideable dog, you would have had horse, and that would have been the answer. Throwing it back.
Better than your fucking monkey.
Hey, don't you start with me. Don't you start with me. And monkey, I say you just, yeah. Number 13. Speaking of candy, the FDA set up a hotline to calm frightened parents due to this popular myth. So the FDA had to set up a hotline, for frightened parents due to this popular myth in relation to candy. What was that? What was that myth? What was the thing that got them all spooked?
Jesus. Red rum.
Red rum.
I've got no fucking clue.
Being filled with the needles or razors.
Okay, good guess. That's good. That's good.
I was going to go with Pop Rocks and like a soda or pop or drink or whatever.
Then you are right, because Pop Rocks had parents so scared, not just with the soda, but just this is a standalone. People heard that you ate Pop Rocks and exploded when they first came out. So the FDA had to literally set up a
I love
hotline because they
people.
were so afraid.
Mythbusters busted that one.
They were on that one.
They did.
I'm glad they even had to take that into consideration.
They put it in a pig's stomach. It was pretty cool.
They're sitting there looking at their roster for the day. They're like, really? All right, two more.
Man.
Two more. Number 14, Kit Kat was introduced into Japan in 2000. Since then, over blank different flavors have been introduced. Hint, Japan really loves its variety. So Kit Kat, we know in America to have what? The white chocolate one and the regular one, right?
Oh, there's
Sure.
In Japan,
Dark chocolate and peanut
I
butter.
didn't know there was two.
yeah.
I thought there was one.
Yeah,
Chocolate.
so but
I know of 4.
All I know is someone owes me some letters.
Since 2000, over blank different flavors have been introduced to Japan's Kit Kats. So you guys tell me how many?
11.
Over 11 different flavors. Okay.
I've seen quite a few of their Kit Kat flavors. They go nuts over it. I'm gonna say over 100.
Over 100.
Wow.
I'm going to go with 111.
And because of that, Craig gets the point. It's 200. 200, guys.
This is
Oh my
stupid.
God.
200,
Wow.
including such notable ones as green tea, wasabi, and a few others.
Ew.
like,
They have like
Wasabi?
yeah.
Yep, that's a thing.
They have like seaweed Kit Kats.
Yep.
I mean, like literally everything they've made into a Kit Kat. It's awful.
If you could dream it, they've Kit Katted it. Number
Ew.
15 and the last one available. Lastly, the movie Halloween featured a killer named Mike Myers who killed a bunch of people, obviously. When making the film, the crew went to a store and bought the cheapest mask they could find. The mask is actually supposed to be a real-life actor. Who is the mask of? So they went to they were making the movie. They literally went to a costume Halloween store. They bought a mask of a popular actor, brought it back, and they were in the movie. So for the record, by the way, the actor, when years later found out that they were the person in it, it made the person laugh, and they said that they were honored.
Sure. When did the movie come out?
This is the original Halloween movie.
Oh, how
It's like
when
the
did-
70s.
Oh. I don't know. Let's go with Mike Myers.
Okay, I mean this is a very, by the way, it's a very I say popular actor and all that stuff. Okay, you're good.
I don't freaking
No, you're
know.
fine. You're fine. You're fine.
I'm gonna go with John Travolta.
I knew this at one point.
I know, same. Because I think they literally turned it inside out or something.
I'm going to go with Clint Eastwood.
Well, it's unfortunately I can't give it to any of you guys. The answer is William Shatner. William Shatner, and they just painted it white. Is basically all they did.
Oh, is that
yeah,
what they did?
Yeah, they just basically made it white, and that's it. So yeah, William Shatner, old Bill Shatner was the face of
Wow.
Mike Myers in the Halloween movies. So Burke,
He would be the one that's like, yeah, I'm cool with that. Don't worry about it.
when he didn't find out till many years later, and he laughed about it, and he was quoted as saying that he was honored.
That's funny.
So
Interesting.
Burke, what's our totals on this one?
Oh, it's been the. I'll just go with Craig 1.
Just go with Craig 1.
Craig won by a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He had 3 times as many points as Michelle. And 9 times as many points as me.
Oh.
And I had 1 point.
So 1,
Craig-
3, and 9.
Yeah, 1, 3, and 9.
Dang.
Look at that.
Mr. I don't dress up for Halloween suddenly knows all about Halloween, just like the fall
the
quiz.
fall episode, the fall quiz. I win the Halloween quiz, and I don't know why I knew half the stuff that I did.
That's amazing.
He secretly loves Halloween. He's trying to act like he doesn't.
That might be it. Like he's the guy who has like the Jack Skellington outfit. He like walks around the house on Halloween. He's like, this is. Your wife is like, what the hell's wrong with you?
I have to pay hush money, which is actually just me going and picking up food for her, just to make sure she doesn't tell anybody.
Absolutely. She comes home and every time she opens the door, it's the laser wire trigger. Oh God. I can just pretty much see that now.
That's
Well,
funny.
I'm glad you guys that we get to talk about this. It's my favorite holiday, and it's a lot of fun. And I mean, the only thing I can think of at the end of this is that I'm glad that not only did we get to share this moment and enjoy it, but also we get to enjoy the fact that, as always, Burke got dunked on. to enjoy the fact that, as always, Bert got dunked on.